Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jefferies, the present-day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. Researchers at McGill University in Montreal showed that a single plastic tea bag submerged, dunked in brewing temperature water can release up to 11.6 billion particles of microplastics. Oh, that's nuts. That's just beyond scary stuff. I couldn't believe it when I read that. You know, in episode 11 of my Healthy Life Hacks podcast, I spoke all about tea and how to make it healthier for you by how the kind of tea and how to brew it, all those things. So go back to episode 11 and check that out. I never dreamt when I recorded that I also needed to talk about tea bags as well. You know, I have personally used loose leaf tea for decades. I haven't used the, tea bags. So tea bags are basically a porous sachet that contains the loose leaves, of the tea, and you brew it. You dunk, brew. The thing is, they're commonly made from plastics such as nylon or PET. And PET is what your plastic water bottles are made from. Now, microplastics have been reported in teas to be thousands of times higher than those of even the crappiest plastic water bottles. That's scary stuff. The thing is, it's the heating of the tea bag that exacerbates the release of the toxins. So what's the danger? There's a researcher called Christopher Zangmaster, and he's a chemist at the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And he found that microplastics have been linked to hormone imbalances, increased allergies, immune system disorders, even heart disease, cardiovascular disease. Now, I want to talk about hormone imbalances. This is huge because when plastic water bottles started to become popular, 20, 30 years ago, I was in Townsville. I had my aromatherapy and naturopathy clinics up there. And I remember, Townsville's in the tropics. It's stinking bloody hot in summer. And you'd see the trucks going around open-sided. And the heat of the sun beating in on those plastic water bottles was leaching xenoestrogens into the water. People go and drink it and absolutely was producing hormone imbalances. That's been decades. Tea does exactly the same thing. It's the heat of the tea or the heat of the water that's interacting with the plastic of the tea bags. And you think, oh, no, tea bag's not plastic. They're plastic. Okay, so tea bags can't be put even into our compost bins because they're plastic. They don't break down. So all the experts are saying, no, use cotton tea bags. The thing they don't tell you is that cotton is one of the most highly sprayed crops and bleached crops on the planet. It's nuts. And what we're finding too with those bags is that even though they can be made by bleached, cotton, they still seal the actual little tea baggy shape with a blob of plastic so that the tea leaves don't come out when you're making your brew. You've still got plastic. It's not cool. And, Aldi, which is a brand of supermarket in Australia, they're going, we're good, we're clever. A couple of years ago, we changed over to PLA instead of PET. So what is the difference? I want to talk about this. It's real. So PET is the plastic. It's a petroleum-based plastic that makes your water bottles. And the squashier, flimsier the plastic, the more the crap toxins leach into the water. Scary. So imagine how flimsy a tea bag is, like scary stuff, and particularly hormone messing up. It's just not cool. So Aldi's going, we're using PLA. So when you really research PLA is made, it's a bioplastic, okay, which is made from fermented plant starch. You go, yeah, that's great. Plant starch, it's just a plant, it's all good. So PET, they've worked out, how to, bust it down and heat it up and remold it into being plastic. So PET can be easily recycled. PLA is more difficult. They can't because you actually need a special facility to be able to compost it. And so even though it starts out as a plant starch, do you know how long it takes to break down PLA? Get this, 80 years. 80 years. PET, plastic, every bit of plastic that's ever been made on this planet still exists. It does not break down. Think about that. That Tupperware container you had in the 50s, that shit still exists. It will never break down. The PLA products that are being put out there now, they still take at least 80 years to break down. It's just, that's nuts. It's still not good enough. It's just not good enough. And they use nasty solvents to help break it down faster. So not cool. Above all, if you're going to drink tea, get it. And the healthy life hack for this episode is pretty simple. If you're going to drink tea, stop using tea bags. Just stop. Use a pot. Use a stainless steel or I use ceramic pots. I've got Asian teapots. I've got a cast iron teapot because I'm a vegetarian. I want to pull up all the iron and everything out of it. So I love my cast iron teapot. If you want to use cotton, get a muslin. So they're like a little square bag, not bleached, so they're not pretty and white. A piece of muslin, which is a safe cotton, and it usually has a little cotton drawstring. So with that, you put your tea leaves in it, draw it closed, dunk, 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 reusable. So that's all right. But any of the other tea bags, they're not cool. They're just not cool. So I get that everyone gets to draw the line in the sand somewhere with their health. We haven't even touched the surface with how bad plastics and microplastics are in our health. We just really haven't. And I really recommend that you minimize your exposure to them as much as you can. This research out of Montreal is a scary number, 11.6 billion particles of microplastic in one cup of tea. That's nuts. Anyway, up to you. Think about what you want to do. If you want to go to the show notes, www.healthylifehacks.com.au, you can check out this information there and enjoy a cuppa. See ya. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review, have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from so that you always catch the next episode. I welcome your emails and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.